What's going on, gardeners? On today's 2-minute garden tip, I'm going to show you why and how you should be overseeding your seedlings and transplants and how to thin them. When starting crops from seed, whether you're starting them in seed trays or directly in your garden, it is critical that you place more than one seed in each designated space. That's because seeds do not have 100% germination rates, so if you don't place multiple seeds, you will have seed trays or areas in your garden where nothing will germinate and you will have gaps. That's why I always make it a point to sow 2 to 3 seeds per seed tray cell or individual planting hole if I'm direct sowing out in my garden. And for really small seeds like lettuce where it's hard to grab the individual seeds, I'll just take a small pinch per location. As a result of this method, you're going to have instances where multiple seeds germinate in a single location. In the case of this cabbage, you'll see I have about 3 or 4 plants where all of the seeds germinated. And as a result, you have to thin these because cabbage heads need about 1 dedicated square foot in order to grow, and these individual seedlings will outcompete each other and smother each other if you let them all grow. So what we want to do is we want to take a simple pair of scissors and cut off the weakest seedlings while preserving the strongest seedlings. And it is very clear that this cabbage right here is the strongest one. That is the one that we want to carefully save while we snip off the weaker seedlings. And then the weaker seedlings can just be left to decompose around the strongest seedling, and they will break down and refeed the soil as a mulch of sorts. Part of the success in this method is determining what the strongest seedling is, and you do that by looking at the overall health of the plant. You want the plant with the largest leaves, the most vigorous growth, and no pest damage. In the case of these cucumber seedlings right here, it looks like that this seedling is the furthest one along, so we're going to simply lop off the rest and let that one take advantage of the full growing area with no competition to hold it back. It's important that you only conduct this thinning after the seedlings have been transplanted out in your garden. Don't conduct the thinning when they're still in seedling trays. That's because invariably some transplants will fail and will not take hold. So if you thin your transplants down to a single seedling and then you transplant them and that transplant dies, you will wind up with no viable crops. All of the seedlings that you see right here are still too small to be thinned. We want to give them a little bit more time to establish themselves and make sure that there is a clearly dominant seedling emerging. You also have to factor in that you may take some loss to wildlife like worms or caterpillars or rabbits or birds. So you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch and thin too soon. Proper overseeding and thinning technique will maximize the efficiency and productivity of your garden. And that's today's 2-minute garden tip. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated.